So you heard me talk earlier a little bit about conjugated verbs and infinitives. And an infinitive, I said, has to on the front of it, and it can only be used in that form. It can't be touched. To do, to play, to hike, to whatever. And then a conjugated verb means that it can be used with the pronoun. So I wouldn't say I to like to play cards. That doesn't make sense. I would have to say I like to play cards. And in order to get that in that correct form, in order to change like to be able to be used, I have to conjugate it. We do this so rapidly that we don't realize there's actually a process to this. This is one of those processes that you actually learned when you were, little bitty learning language. But when you study a foreign language, you have to relearn that process. So you already do this, but now you're learning the structure behind why you do this, which is why you have to do that to be able to learn the foreign language. So the verb that I'm going to teach you how to conjugate is aimer. Now your book uses jouer, which means to play. It's the same process. I'm just going to use aimer. And aimer means to like. Now you see the ER on the end of aimer. And this ER in French is pretty much the equivalent of to. And ER in French is pronounced A. So when you have aller au cinéma, to go to the movies. Jouer au foot, to play at the, French, it's still French, at the soccer, not actual football. Football américain is the football that we play, but foot in Europe is soccer. Écouter de la musique, to listen to the music. And then regarder de la télé, to watch of the television. And you will see under de here, I have some kind of weird funky symbol. And this is an upside down E, it's kind of backwards, and it's called a schwa, like a schwa, like, yes, a schwa. And the schwa is, and I may not have spelled that correctly, but the schwa is a phonetic symbol that is basically the breath left over at the end of the word when you say the. It's that h at the end of it. And it's very short, but it's still there. And so the way that you will see me denote this sound, h, is a schwa. So de la. It's not duh, it's d. It's a little shorter, so that's why we use the schwa. And you'll see that a lot when I'm giving you pronunciations. So, the ER, if you remember, the ER acts like to. And so the first thing that I have to do is to get rid of that to in order to be able to use it. Like I said, I wouldn't say I too like to play music. I would say I like to play music. So I've got to get rid of that ER. But I can't just get rid of it and then not put anything back on it because it would feel kind of all scared and alone. So there are certain endings that go with certain pronouns. And it's really, really easy to remember these endings if you know the song, I think it's Old MacDonald. So the endings that we're going to use, the ending for je is E. The ending for tu is es. The ending for il is I. For nous, it is ONS. And it's actually in there. For vous, it is EZ, and for ils and elles, it is ENT. Now this only works if your infinitive ends in ER. There are 3 types of infinitives in French. There is ER, like on aimer, and aller, and jouer, and écouter, and regarder. So you have your ER endings. Then you have your RE endings. For instance, perdre means to lose. And in this case, the RE is the to. And then you also have an IR verb. And it also means to. These are all infinitive endings. And anytime you hear the word infinitive, you just need to think of to. To, infinitive to. And it's like Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond. So the to is the infinitive. Okay? And so then your IR, which is your other type of infinitive in French, is used for verbs like finir, which means to finish. And then we'll put jouer up here. So, your three types of infinitives in French are er, to play, re, perdre, to lose, and then ir, finir, to finish. And in each of these cases, the regular verbs, that means the ones that follow this pattern every single time, the regular verbs, you would take this off and change it. And each one of these has different endings. So for the er verb, which is what we're going to learn today, this is our infinitive. The first thing we do is take off our er, and then we're going to add the endings. Go back to Old MacDonald. Are you ready? Back to preschool. Okay, so your ending for je is e. For tu, it is es. For il, elle, and on, it is e. For nous, it is ons. I'll put it down here. For vous, it is easy. And for ils and elles, it is ent. So, it's a pretty simple process. Just to help us out a bit. Once we get those down, then you took off your er, so what's left? This part right here. And once you take off your infinitive ending, what is left is called your stem or your root. Now, it's two different parts of a tree, but when you're talking about words, it happens to be the same part. I'm not really sure why that is. It's kind of confusing, but so your stem or your root is the part without the infinitive ending, okay? And then you just add it back to it. So, let me use blue. No, I used different color. Sorry. Alright, so I'm running out of colors over here. How about purple? Alright. Just put it back. So, that's how you conjugate the verb. You take off the er ending, take it off. Step 1, take it off. Step 2, put your endings. Step 3, put your stem back on, and you're done. So how do you remember these endings? This is where Old MacDonald comes in. For an er verb that is regular, which means the er verbs that follow this pattern all the time, most of them do, but not always, it's E, ES, E, ONS, EZ, ENT. Now throw Old MacDonald in there. EES, EONS, EZ, ENT. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. EES, EONS, EZ, ENT. That might be twinkle, twinkle. I don't know. But so those are your endings for your ER verbs. Okay, great. So we have these endings. We've got verbs. We've got pronouns. What does all of this mean? Here we go. We'll go with red. So, and I'll fix this in a second. Je aime, I like, and I am liking. Now in in English, we have two different ways to say this. The French are much easier with it. Just give it this one, and you're done. Now, when you have je next to a verb that begins with a vowel, okay, you take off the E and you make an apostrophe here. And this is what makes French sound French. Because if I said je aime, that doesn't sound French, that sounds weird, right? But if I take that E off in order to run them together, and then I get j'aime. Ooh, now it sounds French, right? So j'aime écouter de la musique. I like to listen to music. J'aime écouter de la musique. I like to listen to music. Alright? Now, je is the only one that you take that vowel off to squish it together. The only pronoun that you do that with. Tu aimes. What do you think it means? You like. You are liking. Okay? to with an ES. Il, elle, on, he likes, she likes, one likes. Okay? Where do I want to write this? But it also means he, she, one is liking. Nous aimons, we like. Nous aimons, we like, are liking. Vous aimez, you or y'all like, are liking. Ils, elles, they like or are liking. So, if I said tu aimes regarder la télé, you like to watch television. Il aime jouer au foot, he likes to play soccer, right? Now, do you remember me telling you earlier you don't pronounce S's in French? And you don't. However, if the S is at the end of a word, and the next word starts with a vowel, then you do pronounce the S, but you pronounce it as a Z. So, let me put these together so you can see it a little easier. Okay? Yes, this is pronounced vous, right? Parlez-vous français? Do you speak French, right? But vous here is next to a vowel. And vous ends in an S, and ame begins with the letter A, which is a vowel. So, when this happens, it's what the French call liaison. You put them together, and you make that Z sound. So, anytime you see an S next to a vowel, just know that it's going to be pronounced Z. So, vous aimez, nous aimons, ils aiment, elles aiment. So this is how you actually hear your plural. But you can only hear your plural if the next word starts with a vowel. So you have to be really aware of context when you're dealing with French. So for instance, this is il aime, he likes. This is ils aiment, they like. Did you hear the Z in there? Alright. So ils aiment regarder la télé, they like to listen to music, to watch television. Il aime regarder la télé, he likes to listen to music. Did I say that right? Ils aiment, they like, and then il aime, he likes. And I messed that one up too, and I apologize. So anyway, to review really quickly, infinitives end in ER, IR, or RE. Infinitive is to plus the verb, to infinity and beyond. Your endings for an ER verb, for a regular ER verb, are EES, EONS, EZENT. Okay? And those are for your regular ER verb endings. Now, aller is irregular, which means it's not going to follow that pattern. It doesn't make any sense where they get the letters or why it is the verb conjugated the way that is. Okay? So you can't do this with all ER verbs, only regular ER verbs. An irregular ER verb is going to look completely different. It's not going to have the EES, EONS, EZNT going on the whole time. Alright? Get a good look. Let me know if you have any questions. And I also have a handout, or you'll see a sheet that's got this very, very thoroughly explained. This is it's a strange process, but once you get in the hang of it, it's very, very, very easy. But once again, notice the chart is set up first, second, third person, singular, plural. Same chart from your pronouns, and you will see this chart with every verb that you do. The other thing you really have to remember is that in English, we have two ways of saying a present tense verb. I go to the store, I am going to the store. But in French, it's the same word. Go. So j'aime means I like and I am liking. Oh, j'aime la pizza. I like pizza. Oh, I'm liking the pizza. Same verb. Okay? And also don't forget that je, when it's next to a vowel, you take off that E and put that apostrophe there in order to make it sound français. Alright? Bonne chance with your conjugations. And we're going to get, this is pretty much French. So once you get this, we can start rolling. But until you get this, it's going to be very, very difficult. You've got to make sure that you understand this process, or French will be a very difficult thing for you to do. Because you can't speak without verbs. Alright? Good luck.